Yeah, it's a really topical thing actually. So just released kind of a set piece module within the
Mm.
platform. Unfortunately, I wasn't really instrumental in putting it together, and my knowledge of set pieces probably aren't the highest within the company. But from what I understand from the product development team, it's such an incredible world because you know, I think as a sport, we love it because it's so dynamic, because it's so fluid. It's very difficult to be able to break things down into different areas that we can analyze that are similar in other games.
Mm.
With set pieces, you can kind of do that. I guess the big one people talk about is from a corner. There are some certainties that will happen. A player will probably put the ball into the box or have some sort of variation of kicking the ball from that area. And you can put things into different buckets in terms of saying, okay, this was a cross to the near post. This was an in swinger to the far post. And we've essentially created maybe a slightly more intuitive way of measuring that, I would say, as opposed to the typical approach to using data for corners, for example, would be to set the box up into different smaller boxes.
Yeah.
And I know that's something that I did back when I was trying to collect data.
Yeah.
I guess is the kind of the obvious way of doing things. But when we asked people who actually work as set piece coaches, they would often group these boxes together and say they are the near post.
Mm.
And then when we asked them, well, how would you kind of really interpret the near post? Where would that be delivered? They said, well, it'll probably be an area similar to this. And we've actually kind of created shapes based on what they believe each individual category should be, as opposed to just drawing boxes for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And therefore, we can kind of identify which area the ball's been delivered to in maybe a little bit more of a contextual way.
Mm.
And then the big advantage of that is visualizing it. So we've got essentially on the platform a way of looking at the sequence of actions where the ball was delivered, whether there was a first contact. You can then filter for who gets the first contact, and then what eventually happens, whether it goes into the goal. Obviously, then you can link that up with video, and I would say it would make the job of a set piece analyst or coach a lot easier in the end of the day.